Tech News Weekly is sponsored by Hover.com. Go to gfu.hover.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. FreshBooks. FreshBooks is an easy-to-use online invoicing service that saves you time, gets you paid faster, and makes you look professional. Get started completely for free at freshbooks.com. And by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook by going to audiblepodcast.com/GFQ.
Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everybody, to Tech News Weekly, a weekly wrap-up of everything in tech. I'm Adrian Zarian. I couldn't even switch the camera. I don't like this whole big video thing going on my screen. I'm joined by two gentlemen today. Of course, let me start with the returning Suncast. How you doing, Suncast?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. You know, all the buttons now are mixed up because I'm camera 1 and camera 2 now. You're camera 3. And we have Chase here from Geek Gamer Radio. Is it Geek Gamer Weekly or Geek Gamer Radio? Because I posted Geek Gamer Radio last week when I did your show on Sunday, and somebody said, no, it's Geek Gamer Weekly.
We made changes this week, but here's the deal. First off, it's Geek Gamer Weekly. That's the name of the show.
Okay.
It used to be Geek Gamer Radio a long time ago.
Okay.
No longer.
So
And
I wasn't wrong.
You weren't smoking.
Okay, that's all I need. That's all I need. I wasn't wrong.
So Andrew was having a Chauncey moment here.
I was having a Chauncey moment.
But we're Geek Gamer. We're GeekGamer.tv now. We've actually moved domains over. We've moved the media over. So if you go to GeekGamerRadio.com, it will automatically redirect you to GeekGamer.tv, which is the new web home hub of geeks and gamers.
I had a lot of fun last week on your show, and
we enjoyed having you.
Listen, it was late here. We started around 10:15.
Yeah, 10:15.
And I hung, till about 12 o'clock. I was belligerent by the end because I was drinking, but I did hang out for a little bit.
It actually got progressively hotter in your studio as the show went on. So I aptly named the episode 90 Degrees and Rising.
What did we finish with? I think it was like 96.
It was like 94, 96. It was terribly, incredibly hot.
Yeah, we've hit 107. Last summer we hit 107. It was 103 outside. We didn't have the.
It's time that you invest in a good AC unit.
I have 2 ACs and an overhead fan in this place. Nothing cools it down, and I put these curtains behind me to kind of close the room out because if you see the studio, it's closed in, but it also opens up on the side, so you could. It's like an entrance outside. There should be a door, but there's no door. So I have AC pumping in the cold air from the back, and then I have an air conditioner in the front also. So it's hitting it from both sides. Nothing cools this place down. It's the first time I've seen it under 79 degrees. It was 78 degrees today in here. It was great. It was amazing. And that's my my weather report today.
It's 72 out here in the West, and it's nice, comfortable. 72 inside, 72 outside, and no humidity. So it's great.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not that lucky here. Suncast went to a concert yesterday, right? You went to a Rascal Flatts concert.
Yeah, I went to the Rascal Flatts concert.
How was it?
It was pretty cool. I've seen them a number of times. My sister works on their tour, so every time that she comes through town, I pretty much just go to hang out with her and watch the show.
And you sent me a really awesome picture of their control center, which was phenomenal. I mean,
that's the video stuff that they're doing.
I mean,
I took that specifically to make you jealous.
Do you know what they were using?
I could get you information if you want it.
Yeah, I would love to.
But I'm telling you, the stuff that they're using is extremely high end.
I could imagine. I mean,
and you should have seen, because they have this. They had to actually set up in a semi truck trailer because they didn't really have anywhere else to put it. And right outside, they actually have an AC unit, this giant, humongous AC unit that they use when it gets really hot. Because they have the exact same problem, because it's in an enclosed space, it'll get really hot, and then all the equipment will start overheating. So they have to have AC as well.
Yeah, I would imagine it has to get hot because, and that's those units are a lot more expensive than mine.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're a lot larger, and they're doing a lot more work. So it's interesting to see different setups and different people's and total, professional setups. Because in reality, we're doing the same thing, but it's on such a grander scale. We talk about 720p.
Like, the stuff they have was way beyond what we would need.
But you know what's scary? Here's the scary thing. And Chase, Chase does a great-looking webcast as well. Chase is broadcasting at 480p. And I got a little jealous this week after I did their show, and we upgraded our equipment. We've been actually working on it, and I finally got the time because Paul changed the show day. He was supposed to do What the Tech with me on Tuesday, but we changed it to Thursday. So I had some time to tinker around. I've invested about $30,000 in this room, which is a lot of money, but in terms of, live production, it's nothing. I cannot imagine how much money they've spent.
I can get you prices.
I can't even imagine. But you know what the funny thing is? I mean, the video quality, of course, is a lot better. But how much better is it for the price? Like, if you do, like, a chart of how much money they've invested and how much better the quality has gotten, you know what I mean? Like, it's funky. It's not an even distribution.
We covered this a little bit, I think, when we were at Blogware and we were talking to Rob Barnett from My Damn Channel, because he's doing something similar, but also has a budget for more of the higher end equipment.
Yeah.
But he's not doing it. I don't think he's doing it quite to the scale that you would if you were a TV network.
No, I wouldn't. But it's interesting because Rob, he's an established dude, and he knows the business. He was blown away that we're doing live content like this.
Oh yeah, I mean it's really nice. I just wish that we had a bigger budget. Everybody always wants a bigger budget. It doesn't matter what scale you're doing this at. You always want a bigger budget.
Yeah, I'll talk to the accountant. I'll talk to the accountant, which is Jess. My wife's the accountant. I'm not allowed to spend any more money on this company. Jessica's banned me.
Pay raises.
No time soon. I'll tell you. After the third quarter being such a mess with ads. As you see, we haven't been doing a lot of ads for the third quarter. There's no raises coming.
Crap.
Yeah. I mean, Chase knows. You guys have ads.
Sure. I mean, but the thing is, we only get them because we're a part of a bigger global network, techpodcasts.com. We're part of the TPN network. And through that leverage, they're able to pull, 100, 200, 300 shows together to one massive ad buy. Right now we're doing Carbonite. And so the problem is, when you're on your own and you're trying to do your own thing, unless you're pulled in or you're pulling in thousands of downloads on your own, it's really hard to leverage that stuff on your own.
Yeah. But enough business talk, enough inside baseball talk. Let's get some news.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to bring up a story, and I was debating if I should put this in, but I put it in anyway. SiriusXM 2.0. We all know how I love satellite radio. Spencer Coburn, the host of The Ball Truth on GFQ, was on XM for a long time. Satellite radio, in my opinion, I think they had something extremely important 10 years ago when it started. Unfortunately, there's services called iTunes, Pandora, Spotify. The list goes on and on. Will people pay for content? I mean, I know they're surviving, and Howard has saved both companies. Howard saved Sirius and made the merger happen between XM and Sirius because they were killing XM. So the company, in my opinion, is relying on this one guy. Will they survive? They're looking to launch a service very similar to Pandora in the future called SiriusXM 2.0, which you could create your own custom channels, much like Pandora, and have likes, dislikes, remove content on there. They're also saying in 2013, Howard Stern will have an on-demand channel.
2013?
Yep, 2013, Howard will have an on-demand feature. And they're hoping that they're going to have them in cars by 2012. Is this, this is all our opinion. What do we know? Our satellite radio's nail in the coffin. Could they survive the next 5 years at the rate that they're hemorrhaging money, at the rate that Spotify and Pandora are becoming such popular services? I'll go to Suncast first for this. Suncast.
Well, it's totally possible they could survive. I think it's kind of unlikely because let's look at it. they kind of missed the mark here with everybody else, like such as RIM and Palm, where the world starts moving on from where somebody is at, and they don't adapt to the changing times. And I think Sirius Satellite Radio has kind of been in that same boat where they're not adapting to what's changing. Internet radio has really taken off, and even internet in cars has really taken off. You're seeing a lot more internet radio in cars automatically when you buy the car. So satellite radio is kind of diminished in that sense if you have a car that already does internet radio.
Yeah. But, I mean, once internet radio, and Chase, you chime in on this. In my opinion, once car radios start becoming more of a thing where they have more internet radio services on there, I know Ford is doing it and GM is doing it with OnStar now.
Yeah.
Can we see, are people going to want to pay for this stuff if they could get it for free on their phone?
Well, one thing we have to look at, you know, us three and probably everybody who's watching the show has a high-speed internet connection. They're connected probably 3 different ways from Sunday. The one thing I think we're losing focus on a little bit is I had Sirius a long time ago, before I had a cell phone, before I had high-speed internet. And the cool thing about Sirius was, you know, I drove long distances, and where I would lose radio reception. And so it was my only way to get fresh new music, comedy, sports, everything I ever wanted as I was driving 200 miles a day.
Yeah.
One of the things that we got to look at here with Sirius is obviously they're trying to add more features, and I think what they can do to survive is fill that niche market where someone could be living out in the middle of Montana, where maybe, you know, they have edge service, you know, truckers. I mean, obviously all these things where, yeah, there is internet connectivity, but with bandwidth caps on cell phone providers coming on pretty much everything now, there's a niche out there for Sirius to fit into. And I think, you know, with these features that they're adding, they can say, hey, you know, you can't get cell phone reception or you have terrible internet. Well, guess what? We have a solution for you. And I think it's really cool that they're innovating and trying that.
I think the problem with them is that it's expensive. You know what I mean? Like, the service is expensive for the average person. You're talking about a good $15 a month for this service. And this is a screwy thing. They really dropped the ball with merging the two companies and keeping them separate. I have to pay twice for the service because I have XM in one car and Sirius in one car, and they can't give me the second package. If you have more than one radio, they give you the other one is half off. I can't do that. So now if I want Howard in my Infinity, I have to pay for the best of Sirius, which comes out to about $25 a month just to get Howard Stern.
See, I think that's one of the things where you're looking at internet radio is kind of better. Yes, I mean, there are services out there like Spotify and Google Music that possibly costs money to subscribe to if you want the premium services. But the thing is, you can also use that on multiple devices without any additional cost.
You know what's scary? I would have 3-4 years ago, and I think even down to 2 years ago, I was such a defender of satellite radio, and I was so for it. And when Howard went, I said, this is going to be so interesting because people in the radio business and people in the broadcasting business are going to get such opportunities that you can no longer get on terrestrial radio. New York City talk radio is dead. Nobody's doing talk radio anymore. FM talk is gone. It does not exist anymore in New York. And this was such an opportunity for people like me and you know, even Chase that's doing this, and you know, somebody could see from the radio business and say, hey, Chase, you know, I like the show you're doing. Why don't you come do a once-a-week show on satellite radio on, you know, some station? But they're not doing that. And they've totally dropped the ball with the service. And they're relying on, you know, cars that come with the service for subscribers. There's no content on there other than the same music you get everywhere else. I hope for competition-wise they survive. But at the rate that they're hemorrhaging money, it's going to be tough to compete with something like Pandora.
Yeah, well, let me ask you.
Remember
how many
Pandora?
people,
hang on one second. I don't think you two could hear each other. Chase, you go ahead and I'll go to you, Suncast.
Oh, I was going to say, you know, the one thing about Pandora is it works off of a data connection. You know, you need to have a data connection with your cell phone to have it work with your car stereo. You know, you're pulling that data from a cell network. But one benefit to satellite radio is you don't need to do that. You don't need to have a separate data connection, a separate phone. You can have it on your own. And so there is that niche out there, and I think that's where satellite radio is fitting itself into, where it's going to be a niche for those people who have a cell phone and don't want a data plan, for people who live out in the middle of nowhere, who have terrible radio reception, and they're tired of listening to the same 5 songs that they have on their MP3 player from 2009. Whatever. I think that's where satellite radio is starting to go. They're going to turn into that niche market.
That's interesting. That's a good point, though. Suncast, what was your point? And then we'll go to another one.
I was just wondering, how many people do you know that actually have Sirius satellite radio?
Well, here in New York, which is a Howard town, you have to remember everybody listened to Howard when he went over. Pretty much nearly everybody that I knew got satellite radio. Do they all have it now? No, they don't. A lot of them have dropped out, and they're no longer getting the service. But I know maybe 7 out of 10 people that had it here in New York.
Had it. That's the key word right there.
I'm not too sure anymore, and that's where I'm going with my opinion on this. I think a lot of people have dropped. I have not renewed it in Jessica's car. I have not renewed my second subscription. I've only kept 1 subscription. My father-in-law dropped 2 or 3 subscriptions. So a couple family members also dropped subscriptions. So I know a lot of people don't have it as much as they did. But
you're the only person that I know that even has a subscription.
Yeah. So what does that say? How does that say? I want to go to another story and another possible dying thing. The mobile gaming consoles platforms. Sony portable players won't be on sale in the U.S. and Europe until 2012 after critical holiday season, according to Bloomberg. Japanese consumers will be able to buy the Vita, the Sony Vita, in December. Bad move? Let's see. In my opinion, yes. Another yes. And I'll tell you why.
No question about it.
No question about it. There's nothing else to discuss. Yes, we're moving on. What else is the next story? No, as someone that's not a serious gamer, and I used to be, but I have not been a big gamer in quite some time. A move like this, where you have so much competition. We saw the Nintendo 3DS drop the prices due to poor sales. We have people that are buying iPads as gaming devices, which is unbelievable to say that, but they are, and I'm one of those people that I could be happy with playing some stupid little jumping game on my iPad. I don't need to get a portable device just to do gaming. The Vita is a 5-inch display and a touchpad. It's going to be retailing for $249 in the U.S. and $300 for a 3G service. I don't know. I don't know if this is another device that's going to sell. Their previous handheld did not do that great. I know Chase is a gamer. Do you think this is going to be a great device? Do you think people are going to love this? Like, I don't think they even love the original PSP.
No. Well, the original PSP was, terrible battery life. They used this proprietary little UMD disc format. I had one. I got sucked into it. I'm like, wow. Now, granted, this was back in the day when, cell phones weren't really capable of doing some great gaming. And so, I wanted something with better graphics, and the Game Boy. I think it was their direct competition was either the DS or the Game Boy Advance at the time. So it was great. Fast forward now, 2011, Sony's new PlayStation Portable, the Vita. I'm just like, I was telling Joe and John, we were discussing this exact thing, and I'm just like, with portable gaming that I can do on my cell phone right here, you're looking at decent graphics, Retina display, Angry Birds, iPhone 4. It's like, why would I need a Sony PlayStation Portable?
Yeah,
why?
See, that's the thing. That's exactly what it is. I don't feel that people, and I know a lot of people that buy these consoles just to have them. They're not serious gamers. The market of people that buy the consoles and actually play the games, there is a big gap in between them. I'm one of those people. I have an Xbox 360 and I have a PlayStation 3. I only own one PlayStation 3 game, and I can't remember the last time I played a serious game on the Xbox. The last game I played was Castle Crashers, which I downloaded on there.
We'll get you back. We'll get you back.
I know,
to gaming.
but you know what it is? I've gotten so out of the gaming world that it's gotten so difficult for me. I can't play these games. It's really hard, and I feel stupid playing them. Because I'm satisfied with playing some stupid game where I flick
Angry
coins.
Birds.
Yeah, like I could play Angry Birds for about an hour and be happy with it. I'm playing Words with Friends every day now, and it takes up a lot of my time.
What's
And
that coin one that you play?
oh, Coin Pusher, which was like an addiction for me. I started playing Coin Pusher on my iPod Touch, which what you do is you have these coins and you push the coins and more coins fall and you get those coins. I spent $20 on this thing to buy more coins. I don't know what possessed me to do this. It was like I have some sort of disability and I couldn't determine if this was a good thing for me to do. Well, I spent the $20 and I got the coins and I realized I can't play this, so I deleted the game. But I mean, simple games like that will make me happy, and I'll play for about 45 minutes, and I'm done. Yeah. I don't need a handheld platform just for specific games. They're making this really hard.
It used to be that way.
It used to be that way,
but not anymore.
I mean, the iPad
I
is
think
considered
technology
a gaming platform.
has caught up to where you can actually have a phone and a portable device that does everything.
Yeah.
The graphics has greatly improved over the last 2-3 years in smartphones, where you can have these incredible games, these multiplayer stuff, and just really cool things that you can do with smartphones, like Words with Friends. That never existed before. You didn't have the technology to really do that before.
No.
Now that there's so many people that actually do have a smartphone, the iPhone and Android phone, it's almost easier to develop a game for the Android or for iPhone than it is for a specific portable console.
Yeah, see, I feel that the one manufacturer of these devices that in the console world that has such a advantage over the other ones right now, and that could possibly hurt every handheld device, especially when you talk about gaming on the iPad and gaming on the 3DS or whatever you want put in that category, is Microsoft, because they have that live archive. They already have the infrastructure. They have the network, and they could do some serious damage if they would have put out a phone that was targeting serious gaming. I think they could do a lot of damage in that world, and I think they could be the number one, handheld gaming platform, because they already have an archive. How difficult would it be to put some nice graphics on the phone and, put all the games that are downloadable from the Xbox 360 to the phone. I know they're doing it now, but I think if they did it on a grander scale over the next year or two, it would be a massive, massive blow to these people.
Well, they're putting their foot in the water. I mean, there's no doubt about it that Microsoft is moving in that direction a little slowly, but they are. I mean, if you look at the Windows Phone 7 platform with the built-in Xbox Live connectivity, in theory, you'll have different methods or you have your game on your console, and then you conform over to the mobile version of that game. It can continue where you left off, and then you can interact with your friends on Xbox Live. I really think, going into next year, you're going to see Microsoft starting to push maybe the mobile platform a little bit more in the gaming side of it in their connection with Xbox Live because of Nokia, with their hardware and their phones. So
the hardware, the Nokia hardware is phenomenal.
Out of it yet?
I mean, you're talking about great hardware with Nokia. I think when we start seeing these Nokia Windows phones come out, it's going to be an amazing phone, and it could possibly be one of the best phones on the market. If you looked at all the journalists over the last couple of weeks, they're starting to turn around, and we went into detail on Thursday about this, but it's interesting how the market is perceiving, and these bloggers are perceiving Windows Phone compared to what it was a year ago. They were bashing it and saying this is a stupid phone, the UI is ridiculous, and now the same people that were bashing it are coming out and saying, wow, this is a great platform. They've done so many improvements, and the reality is they've improved maybe a couple of things. That's a handful of things.
Oh yeah, and then you see apps being developed, not necessarily for Windows Phone, but mirror how Windows Phone works. I mean, you'll see certain apps on iPhone and on Android that have tiles that kind of mirror what Microsoft is doing. The different screens and wipes. I'm just like, come on. I mean, don't bag them. I mean, I had a review unit for about a month from Samsung. It's a great platform. Microsoft shouldn't have to, or they shouldn't be concentrating on wanting to be number one or number two, but they need to be a great alternative for somebody who doesn't want a lot of crap on their phone. Mm-hmm. And I think another thing too is one of the things that's held them back is they want to push out software updates, but then they're held hostage by the carriers AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and
That's
they're
the
like,
case with
oh,
everybody,
we want to
though.
push out, copy and paste it and update. Oh, well, we need to test it with every one of our phones first and our infrastructure and blah, 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 blah. And meanwhile, Apple's just like, we're going to release an update. Sorry,
Yeah.
AT&T. Sorry, Verizon. We're doing it. So that's one big thing Microsoft is still need to overcome.
It's like, we saw some phones from BlackBerry too this week, right?
Yeah, they announced some phones. It's just blah blah blah.
It's
blah.
not bad though. I don't mind the new
I'm
BlackBerry.
sorry to be really negative about this,
You
but
are.
it's just like this is stuff that we've heard for 8 months now that was coming.
But
It's
you
like,
know
this
what?
is-
I'll tell you something.
There's nothing new here.
Out of all the phones that they've released over the last year, which is a couple, I found the latest two phones. Which models are they? I know one's the Torch something, the 4G Torch.
Yeah, they have the 4G Torch. They have one
And-
that's the Torch. It's basically the Torch 2.
Yeah.
And they have two different versions. One with a slide-out keyboard and one that doesn't have a slide-out keyboard, which is more
It's
akin
not
to
bad
the
though.
Storm line.
It's not bad. They're not awful phones.
Yeah, but they're still about 2 years too late. So.
Yeah. That's the biggest problem with them. But Microsoft was in the same boat, and that's where I was going with this. Microsoft was in the same boat for quite some time when Windows Mobile 6.5 was being sold, which I have a Windows Mobile phone right here, the HTC Touch Pro, one of the best hardware phones that I've had. Surprisingly, the hardware-wise, it was a great phone. The keyboard was phenomenal.
It's possible that RIM could redeem themselves when they go to their new generation of operating system with QNX based off of
Well,
it
when
all.
is 7 coming out? When's BlackBerry 7 coming out?
It's already out.
Yeah, but
It's
with
coming
this
out
one.
with all these new
Yeah,
phones.
it's coming
And
out with this.
The thing is that they're looking to switch to QNX based operating systems within the next 12 months. So
Yeah.
these phones that are coming out now are going to be obsolete in a year.
Yeah, see that's that's some boat there.
Come buy the new Blackberries with BlackBerry OS 7. And
By
then
the
1
way-
year later, they're going to have the new ones with QNX based operating system on it.
Yeah,
so,
come buy the
do
phone
you
that's
really
not
wanna
going to be
buy one
upgradable.
now?
Come buy the phone that'll be obsolete in 10 to 12 months. That's what you should do.
That's on any
See,
phone.
I think
though.
this would have been. It would have made much more sense. I think if RIM had released these Blackberries about 10 months ago, I think it would have been a lot more beneficial for them to do something like that. Now, it's almost pointless. I think. I mean, they're okay phones. I mean, it's okay for BlackBerry. It's yet another evolutionary step above what the previous lines were.
Yeah.
It's an improvement, but it's nothing radical. It's nothing revolutionary. It's nothing tremendously better than what it was before.
Yeah, I know you're disappointed. You're a BlackBerry guy too, and you're extremely disappointed at this. Since we're on the phone topic, I want to go to the latest rumors, and I've been dodging this, but I have two images, and I believe I got these from TechCrunch. Yeah, they're from TechCrunch. New iPhone 5 images. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
So here is the
you know,
rumored image.
Here's my problem with iPhone 5 rumors.
Here it is. If you
I don't
do
know
you see
what's
it?
true and what's not.
Do you see this one?
Yeah.
It's a great looking phone. I surely hope this is the next phone. But what do we know? It's a nice looking phone.
I'm looking at this right now, and I'm concerned whether or not those edges are going to break easily.
They always break easily.
By the way, the
Well, yeah,
photo,
but-
I don't know if you saw the update on TechCrunch, but according to the notes here, the photo below is a confirmed fake attempting to recreate the shot above as to debunk it. So the one with the blurry hand above is the more legitimate shot, but the one on the bottom is a fake shot.
Is it?
Yeah, this is my
Yes.
problem with all these iPhone 5 rumors is that it's very hard to discern what is actually a real, legitimate rumor.
But you know
and
what's
actually
funny?
just bunk.
Here's the interesting thing, and these are reputable websites, right? The TechCrunch as reputable as they are. Engadget, even CNET is doing this. Yahoo Tech. I mean, it's all over the place. Ars Technica. They're putting these images out, and they're saying iPhone 5 images, iPhone 5 leak, iPhone 5 this, and they know that it's not real, or they're aware where the source is coming from, but they're putting it out there anyway to get the web hits.
Oh, yeah.
And they do this so often where
There's
of
such a culture out there for
There is.
anything Apple.
there is
That anytime you put any kind of Apple story out there, you're going to get shown in search results from Google to Bing. Anytime someone search Apple, you're going to be up there and you have a much greater possibility because it's such a hot topic.
But it's fascinating to me because these are major websites knowing that it's false information that they're putting there, and it's like it's almost like, hey, click on this ad to win $1 million. Oh yeah, you're not going to win $1 million. We just grabbed your email address. You know what I mean? Like, it's done in such a scummy way that I find so funny. Because they beat up on all these malware sites, and they beat up on all these other places that do this, and in the mainstream when they do this, but they're doing the same thing in a way, right? They're tricking you into coming and seeing what it is.
Andrew, you're missing a golden opportunity here.
SEO?
I mean, what you need to do is you need to start putting out fake pictures and putting them on gfqnetwork.com. And I mean, you're missing an opportunity, my friend.
I am.
Why do you think the first keywords for every show that's posted on GFQ is Apple, iOS, iPhone, and iPad?
Yeah, why do you think I do that? It's all SEO. That's what matters in this world, right? Just mislead and scare people into clicking. Giant Godzilla attacks New York. That's my next title. Holy crap, I'm looking at my face. I am orange today, and I don't have anything on. I didn't even go tanning.
Hey, you're looking like Jersey Shore there.
I am. What the hell's going on?
You're a Guido.
I don't even have bronzer on. I don't have bronzer on. This is
Sure
interesting.
you're not just saying
No,
that?
I swear to you, I don't have bronzer on today.
Not today.
Yeah.
See, do you see how vain this guy is? We're in the
I
middle
have
of a
to.
tech show, and he's
I gotta talk
looking
about
at
myself.
himself on camera.
I have to.
Wow, I look really orange today.
I'm observing my face. It's an important thing to do on this show.
Where's my makeup person?
Yeah.
Makeup.
Yeah, we have a makeup person here. How about you, Sunkast? How about you pick a story today?
There's one story that I really do want to
Go
talk
ahead.
about, and I find it absolutely fascinating. It's that this FCC study that came out that measures actual internet speeds, and they're finding that Verizon Fios, actually tops the list of sustained actual internet speeds out of about a dozen internet ISP companies, which I find really interesting. This is the first time that the FCC has ever collected any sort of data like this. They consulted with a bunch of groups about how to measure these statistics, and I think they did a really good job because they're actually looking at actual sustained data speeds. They're not looking at like power boost kind of things or any of the temporary data boosts that
So
you get
this
when
was
you start a
consistent average.
Yes.
Now-
Like what we're doing now would be consistent data.
Okay.
But when you first start downloading a file, and you know how they give you a boost of speed right at the beginning just to get it started.
Yeah.
But no, this is all about sustained data speed, and they're finding that Verizon, Comcast, Charter, Cox, and Time Warner are the top 5 ISP companies with almost near accurate speeds. But they're also saying that these other companies are kind of misleading you in the sense that, well, we'll say that we promise you this amount of speed, but we're not really able to deliver that.
Yeah, according to this chart, Fios is the best one because it's doing the consistent study, and it's showing both 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. peak hours and 24-hour Monday to Sunday, and it's identical. They have the best
actually,
average.
Verizon is
I was a
actually
part
on
of this
list
test.
twice.
Were you really?
Once for-
Hang
Yes.
on.
Once for their fiber network.
Hold on.
And-
Sunkast, hold on. What, you were part of the test?
Yeah, it was Sam Knows. It was a company that was conducting it on behalf of the FCC, and so they basically sent me. Gosh, I didn't even see the story in the rundown, but basically they sent me a router that had custom firmware on it that was anonymously reporting my throughput, the data that I was using, timestamps, the whole 9 yards. They kept all
the porn you were
so
watching.
so they say they kept all my data confidential, so they didn't know what sites I was specifically doing and stuff. And I have Fios here now. I live here in the West, in one of the areas where Verizon used to bring service. Now Frontier bought them. They bought all of the copper, all the traditional telephone lines in Western 13 states. But they were forced to, if they wanted to buy the copper, they actually had to buy the small footprint of fiber customers as well. So I'm Frontier Fios, but still, it's still same Verizon
Still the
infrastructure that they put in. And it was a cool program. It was really neat.
So that's fascinating. Now, what else do they monitor? Do they monitor your web visits? Are they monitoring other things too, or?
They're just monitoring traffic. I mean, they're just monitoring throughput, and I mean, they gave me a router with custom firmware on it. I think it was DDWRT firmware.
That's interesting.
And it was, it was unintrusive or anything. I just put the router in, and it, just did its thing, and I used it. And
how long was the study?
Oh gosh, I had it for almost 6 months plus.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Wow.
So that was an extensive study. I mean, I'm kind of jaded, and you're probably too, because Fios is so consistent with their speeds, and it's phenomenal upload and download speeds. I mean, we have 40 by 40 here, and then we have another one they just upgraded us. I think it's like 2010. 20 up and 10 down, 20 down and 10 up, which is phenomenal speeds. When most of the country, even with cable, they're getting 2 megabits.
I think this is partly why Verizon Fios is actually at the top of the list is because, one, they have a much newer technology that they're using, and it's a much newer network. It's not something that's existed for a while and that they've just been managing over the years. This is something that's relatively new.
Now, Cablevision did the worst in this list. Isn't Cablevision Comcast?
No.
Because over here, I could swear that Cablevision is Comcast.
No, it's a totally separate company.
Unless maybe here in New York, their brand, isn't it Xfinity?
It's Xfinity by Comcast.
Okay, but Cablevision is Xfinity by Comcast.
No. Cablevision is a separate company. Cablevision is Cablevision.
I could swear to you, no, it is. They rebranded it here in New York. Okay, I'm looking here. In New York, Cablevision is now Comcast.
Did Comcast buy them?
Yes.
Or did they buy the infrastructure in New York?
I'm looking here. Because I remember when I had my business in Long Island, we went from... first, it was AT&T Comcast for a while. I know there was some sort of acquisition there years ago. And then they're using Xfinity Internet.
Because maybe Comcast is providing the backbone, because I'm looking at cablevision.com, and it's talking about Cablevision was owned by Rainbow Media Holdings until July 2011, when it became a separate public company named AMC Networks Incorporated. So it looks like they did some different stuff, but there's no mention of Comcast here at all.
I don't know, unless
That's
I'm going crazy. Okay, it's Optimum.
There you go.
Okay, Optimum but they're using it seems like it's in some areas they do use the same infrastructure between Optimum Online and Xfinity. Which it's interesting how they're doing that. I mean, isn't that a wonky way? Same services.
About a year and a half ago, Comcast decided to rebrand their services Xfinity. It's still obviously Comcast
That's just
underneath.
Bizarre that they do things like that, and to me, it's all marketing crap.
Yeah. So Comcast did the worst on this list. AT&T,
Comcast did not do the worst.
I'm sorry, Cablevision. Cablevision did the worst.
AT&T did pretty bad as well.
Yeah. Charter
Just to
is
add
up there.
to what Chase was saying, the sample size for this study was 78,000 people, which is not
study.
a small sample size either.
No, not at all. Where do we see this going, though? Where do we see the at-home ISPs, the landline ISPs like this? Where do we see this going in a couple of years? I know Verizon Fios has made tremendous. I'm blanking out.
Well, they
now.
pretty much slowed down their expansion.
They did. Expansion slowed down, but if you look at the leap that it went from, and at the time being, I believe 2008, we had Time Warner Cable here, and you were getting I think it was like 5 megabits by 1 megabit up. And you just jumped to 40 by 40 Fios. I mean, that's a huge leap. In my opinion, they've really changed the way the business is done. And in some areas, not in New York, but in some areas, it's really created great competition for these ISPs, because for a long time, there was one guy in town. And that's what it was here. You only could do, if you wanted high-speed internet, you could do DSL, which you weren't getting much for the buck, or you could do Time Warner Cable. And when Fios came to New York, it really changed things.
But other than Verizon Fios, can you name another major company that is truly, and I mean truly, investing into their infrastructure and improving their network?
On a large scale, I know AT&T is doing it in some areas. They're trying to grow it, but I can't tell you anybody else really doing this.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can.
I know
the,
AT&T's got the UVerse thing, the IPTV thing, but
I don't think that's even all that great.
No, it's not. Verizon. It's not. I mean, Verizon is really, and that's funny because Verizon had such a damaged business from their DSL years. They really hurt themselves.
They're actually on this list for DSL, and they're near the bottom for it.
Did you ever have Verizon DSL, Chase?
No. When I moved into the house, my two choices was Verizon DSL or Comcast, and I went with Comcast just because DSL is 3 megs down.
Yeah, and I went from in '97. I had Verizon DSL, and it was 640K by I believe 640K by 880K or 76. It was 640 by 76.
You know, what's funny is if you were to mention this sort of thing to somebody that's 13, 14 years old these days.
Oh, I know.
And how they would look at you.
I know.
They'd be like,
how did you do anything?
What are you on? That's like, saying when I was your age, I had to walk through 2 feet of snow to get to school.
I mean, you can't do anything with that. And it was such a huge difference from going from 56K to this. And I had Verizon for a couple years. Then I switched over to Speakeasy DSL. And Speakeasy DSL was one of the best ISPs I've ever had. I had 0 downtime. I had a dedicated line coming from Covad, 6 megabits with DSL. And I was paying like $120 a month, and then I finally switched over to Fios. Time Warner, then Fios. But I mean, you look at what your options were. Really, if you wanted stable internet, you needed to pay $120 a month, which is not something people do nowadays. So I don't know. I don't know what the point of that story was, but it was something.
It was internet.
It was internet. Android users twice as likely to see malware than 6 months ago. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, there's more penetration.
Where was the study? Where was the source from? I'm trying to see what the source was.
This was from, I believe, a company called Lookout. I'm not really sure what that is.
I mean, yes, of course you're going to see it because their app store is junk, first of all. They're letting all this crap in there, and everybody's just downloading apps. Yeah,
it says the figures are based on detection rates from Lookout users. That's the name. It's capitalized, so I'm guessing that's the name of it. Lookout users on Android, but not the iPhone. However, the rates are presumed to be about the same according to Lookout.
I don't know. This is the problem with Android, and I constantly say it. How are they getting the malware? That's the question. Are they getting it from Facebook and email targeting? Are they getting it from app exploits? I mean, I would assume it's all apps.
It's sideloading. It's downloading apps that have not been purified by the Android marketplace.
I'm not going to say who, but somebody that recently bought an Android phone that I know downloaded a sexy girls app on their Android. And they came to me and they go, my phone is crashing, my phone is crashing, my phone is crashing. I'm getting this pop-up thing on the phone. And we could figure out who it is, but somebody that just bought an Android. And they bought this, it was malware. It was mining the data. It was the mining the data, and there was nothing. I mean, and I looked at them, I'm like, why would you download this? And they go, I don't know. Because I don't know. And she's like, oh, somebody told me to download it, so I downloaded it. I'm like, why do you download that? I'm like, it's the same as emails, the same as those Facebook things. And I absolutely love it when you'll see random, people, and it's so funny, the people who fall for the Facebook ones. And they'll say, 2 sexy girls get it on, can't believe what they did. And it's like a house mom that downloaded this and clicked on it on Facebook, and you're wondering, what would possess them to click on this?
There are some that are sophisticated.
You think so?
There's others that are just blatant, but there are some that are pretty sophisticated where they'll actually come from a friend's account.
Yeah.
And they'll actually, put it in, type it in a way where it doesn't seem suspicious at all.
I saw a lot of them during the Casey Anthony trial. A lot of people were, oh my God, can't believe what Casey Anthony did. Click on this. And they were clicking on it, and they were getting hijacked. But
yeah, see, if that came from your friend's account, would you know any better?
Yes, because I consider all my friends dummies. Yeah, I do know better.
You're also neurotic. So.
I am. But the only way to prevent this from happening is to be aware of what you're clicking on. And a lot of people wouldn't know. I mean, the reality is, we know, and our viewers probably know, but some random person that they get a message from a friend that says, "Wow, look at all the pictures I found of you in my attic or whatever," you're gonna click on it.
Yeah, there's actually another story that's kind of related to this is the fact that there's another Android Trojan out there that you can get infected with, and it'll record all your phone conversations, which is kind of scary.
And what does it do with that?
It stores it on your phone's SD card, and then the attacker, I guess, can access that over the internet.
Wow, that's scary, huh?
So basically, what happens is that a fake installation installation screen will pop up on your phone and trick you into installing the Trojan.
Okay, and it just records it to an SD card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every time you make a phone call, it records it to your SD card.
I kind of want to do that to everybody now. I want to start sending that Trojan out. Wow, that is.
I don't have an Android.
Yeah, that is some scary stuff, Jason. I mean, what do you think people could do to stop getting infected with these things? I mean, we're not going to really see it for the iPhone because the App Store is so closed, and it seems like Apple.
You're going to start seeing antivirus applications or providers or whatever the case may be will say, hey, we can offer lightweight protection and we'll run in the background. Or you might even see Google come out with some sort of anti-malware built into their future edition of an OS. I think you're going to start seeing maybe these types of things start to occur, especially for the Android platform, just because you have the ability to sideload your stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't going to stop it, though. It's just like how it is with the computer when you're going to see all these fake links on Twitter and Facebook to say click here and then you'll be infected. It's the same thing. It's something that you can't stop completely. You can manage it to a degree. You can weed out some of these ones that are really bad, but there's no way to actually completely stop everybody from doing this.
Yeah. What do you guys say we do our picks of the week, huh?
Sure.
All right.
Okay, so you want me to go first? Maybe I could go first.
Bronzer first. Go for it.
Bronzer first. Okay, let's see here. I got to just load up the camera. That is the right camera. Okay. Let's drop this down because I'm out of video input sources and I didn't think about this. So my pick this week is Skype for the iPad. I've been using Skype on the iPad for some time now, but now they have a specific app just for the iPad. So let me just see if I could. So here are my contacts. You can see well, you can't see the contacts because it's not loading it. You can see Chase's face though. So that's not working either.
Look at me.
Yeah, you can see Chase there. So I'm going to do it like this because this is easy. It's not bad. I've been using it for some time, and it's fine because the video looks better, but I really don't like what they're doing with the interface. I'm not really happy with the new Skype
So then
interface.
why are you picking it?
Because because the video looks better when you're doing it. You could actually
FaceTime. Isn't FaceTime the end all be all?
Oh yes, FaceTime is the end all be all for nobody. One cool thing that it does is it has when you're making a call and you want to do a video call, you don't have to make the screen bigger. It's actually fitting the screen, which is great. And you have higher quality video now, opposed to some tiny little box that you're making twice the size. But it's great to see that they finally rolled out the app. I know they've made some changes over the last week since launching this, which is really good because they're working on an upgrading. But the interesting thing is, and I feel that they're gonna try to force everybody to have an image like an avatar because most people on my list do not have an avatar. So it's kind of hurting, and maybe those are my friends. It's kind of hurting the interface because you can't see anybody. I have my brother that has an avatar, and I have Chase that has an avatar, and nobody else. I don't know have you guys used? I know Suncast hasn't used this. Have you used this, Chase?
Well, I have an iPad 1.
Okay.
So I have used it. Obviously, I can't send video. I can receive video. Mm-hmm. It works great. Audio quality is great. I recommend, you can use the built-in microphone, but I recommend a little headset or something if you want a little bit better audio quality when you're sending and hearing them. But it works. It functions.
I feel that it relies on... I think the UI relies on you having an avatar. Because the contacts list is these big, images of people, these blocked images, and nobody has an image on my list.
You can't set it to like a list instead of pictures?
No. No.
Are you sure that's not maybe embedded in a settings in the settings menu? Maybe not necessarily in the Skype.
I'm trying to
menu?
see here. I mean, I would like people to have images, but it's if nobody has images, then it's stupid because it just lists a name. So I don't know. I like it though. I think it's a step forward for them, and it's about time that they release an app. It's like how Facebook doesn't have an app. How ridiculous that is. Facebook does not have
They do kinda.
Kinda.
I don't. Do you know about that?
Yeah. But go ahead,
Okay.
tell people.
Well, okay. So if you have a jailbroken iPad, okay, and the last update, Facebook update, they updated their app, and hidden within that app is the Facebook app native for iPad.
Yeah.
So if you
Great
actually
job.
go and download this app through Cydia, it's free. Basically, it enables the Facebook for iPad app to start working natively on your device. So I've actually been using it, and it works great. There might be a couple of bugs here and there, but obviously it's not ready for prime time. But
do you like it
there's a
better than the other apps? By the way, in the
way.
settings,
I do.
do you?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't like
use-
the third-party iPad apps.
What
I've
am I
never been
using
a
now?
fan of them.
I'm using something called Friendly.
I use that.
Yeah, which I mean they're all doing the same thing, but I'm blown away that they don't have an app. So it's about time that Skype actually had an app, and that's my pick of the week. Suncast, you want to go?
Sure. My pick this week is called N Spaces. And it's pretty cool because what it does is for Windows, it creates virtual desktops. I think Mac and Linux both have virtual desktops where you can have, up to 4. I don't know how many it is with Mac. Do you know, Andrew?
Virtual desktops?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure how many you could do. Chase, do you know?
I do not know.
A couple. You could have a few.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
looking here.
that's basically the idea behind N Spaces because Windows doesn't necessarily have more than one desktop that you can choose from. That's the purpose of N Spaces. It'll create virtual desktops where you can have a whole ton of them. It's pre-configured for 4 right out of the box. It's got a lot of cool features. You can set wallpaper for each one. You can call it. You can label it whatever you want. You can switch to it through keyboard shortcuts. And each virtual desktop has its own hotkeys that you can use while you're in that desktop.
What's
What's
the
really-
what's the website? I want to take a look.
The website is bytesignals.com/nspaces. It's a little bit of a hard website to get to. bytesignals.com/nspaces.
N spaces?
Yes,
N like as in the letter?
correct.
Okay. Thought it was end. Okay. I'm
No,
looking
just
here.
N,
Okay.
like the letter.
Okay.
But it's pretty cool. One of the really nice things about this is that you can actually password protect your virtual desktop. So if you have like a work one that you don't want anybody but yourself accessing, you can set a password so that only you can access that virtual desktop. Or if you wanted to set one up for a guest and just leave yours password protected so that they can never access your desktop, you can set it up that way too.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. So it does extend it. It's what the Apple the new Lion does, but
Pretty
for
much, yeah.
Windows. Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. I do like it. It's a good pick.
Yeah, it's something that Windows does lack if you're into having different desktops. You can have all sorts of different applications with it. It's a really cool program.
Excellent. Sounds great. Chase, what is your pick?
All right. I have a hardware pick this week.
Okay, excellent. We really have
this. So we have what? Software.
Mm-hmm.
We have more software, and now we have hardware.
Okay.
So this week is the Hog HD PVR personal HD TV recorder, model number 1212. Here it is. Let me hold it up to the camera.
So
you
I
guys
saw
see it better.
this. I saw this, and it's a pretty interesting device. And I know you were talking about it last week on
Yes.
on the show. And it's a video catcher, right? It's like a capture card.
It's a USB device.
Okay.
It works with both Mac and PC.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, on the Mac side of things, they don't have a native piece of software, so there's a lot of third-party software providers out there, and you do have to pay for. On the PC side of it, there is software that you can use, and it comes with. So it has multitude of inputs. You have composite, regular standard, audio video cables. You have S-video, and you also have component. So what it will do is you hook this up via USB 2.0 to your computer, and through the magic of the analog hole, you can record up to 1080i content.
That's
so
great.
1080i, 720p, and then on down the line. So, for example, on the Mac, I use a piece of software called iTV. That's EYETV, and it supports this device. So, what this is supposed to be used for, and I don't use it this way, is you're supposed to hook this up, set it up on top of maybe your set-top box, for example, and then you have this hooked up to your computer, and it also comes with a little IR blaster, and it will change the channels on your cable box, and then you can record your shows directly onto your computer. So let's say you don't have a DVR through your cable company or satellite provider, you can use this.
So let me ask you this. So if
yes.
I want to use this device for what I'm doing now, so pretty much your video is coming in with a capture card that's in my computer, and I'm bringing it in with component cable. Oh, HDMI actually. I'm bringing you in an HDMI. Could I theoretically do this with this device with component?
It doesn't. Yeah, you could. I haven't tried it in that way. I mean, your computer it doesn't necessarily. It is a capture device, but with how it doesn't really like Skype, for example, doesn't see it as a capture device.
Okay.
So you couldn't say Skype, I want you to use my hop-hog instead of my webcam. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't have plugins that way.
Okay.
What I use it for is it has component pass-through. So basically, you would hook up your. I'm going to tell you what I do. Okay. I have an Xbox 360, so I have component for the Xbox 360. I put it into this box. Out of the box goes to my TV monitor, which is a computer monitor.
Okay.
So, for example, I hit record with the software. So I'm recording 720p video, 60 frames a second. I'm getting great frame rate, and then at the same time, I use Desktop Presenter through Wirecast. I crop the window. So at the same time, I'm streaming live on the Justin TV my gameplay.
And you can play a game.
Let's say I'm reviewing a game. So people can watch it live.
That's actually really
good. And then
good.
I'll take that video and put it in Final Cut and edit it and put it on YouTube.
That's great, actually. That's a great pick. Oh, what's the model again?
It is the HD PVR. It is model 1212 from Hop-Hog.
Excellent.
It retails for $199. You can find it on Amazon, Best Buy, and a retailer near you.
Excellent pick, Chase. Excellent pick.
Thank you, sir.
To visit Chase and to watch all of his shows, you can go to geekgamerweekly.com.
Geekgamer.tv.
Geekgamer.tv, okay.
Chauncey moment.
Geekgamer.tv. No, because if you go to geekgamerradio.com, it still forwards it.
Yes, it will. Geekgamerradio.com, geekgamerweekly.com will automatically forward you to the new web home. So.
Excellent.
Whatever you use, and you can follow me on Twitter at Nunes, Nunes.
Okay. I'm gonna use all of them, and I'm just gonna butcher it every time. Apparently,
that's fine. That's fine.
That's what I'm gonna do. You can catch Suncast every Friday here on the GFQ Network on Tech News Weekly. Also, he'll be troubleshooting everybody in our IRC room that's having a nervous breakdown that we are no longer using Stickam Chat. Remember to follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/GFQ Network. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/Guys from Queens. You can follow me personally at Andrew Zarian. Chase is, you have like 15 of them. What's your Twitter?
I only have one Twitter. I have one for the show, one for me.
One for you.
My Twitter is Nunes, Nunes.
Okay, who's real Chase?
It's my old Twitter handle.
Okay. But right now you're using Nunes.
I only use at Nunes.
At Nunes. Okay, you can follow Chase at Nunes. And pretty much that's about it. Stay tuned. We're going to have Rich's Comic Corner following us at 6:30, so we're going to have a couple minutes of dead air. But you can stare at the wall. It's fine. We're in 1080p now, so 480p now, so you can watch all the imperfections on my wall. And we'll see you all next week on Tech News Weekly. Good night, everybody.